The 19th of August, 2026. That sun is up. It's going to be a warm day, but a pretty day. 95 for the daytime high. 20% chance of rain tomorrow. 95 again. And then some changes for Friday. Potentially some rain in the forecast, somewhere between the 40 and 50% range. 91. So that means not quite as hot. It's still going to be kind of warm out there. And the weekend, once that rain kind of moves out, weekend looks pretty nice. Both days, highs around 92. So we'll take that. Could use a little rain. Noticed that yesterday with some of the plants, and it was like, okay, we complained and complained of all the rain, and now it's kind of dried up. It's like, we have just a little bit more.
Be careful what you wish for you will surely get it.
That's right.
I like the rain. I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, everything in moderation, but I was lucky enough to get some the night before last, and that seems to have greened things up a little bit and kept it going. I think we're in for, if assuming that the rain level kind of stays where it is. It all was in South Alabama yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Taking a look at the radar, man. I just feel sorry for anybody who booked a beach trip any time at all this year. I don't know that there was a sunny day at the beach.
I got lucky.
Yeah,
I did. I really got lucky.
Oh wow.
That's and it was funny because about 7 days out, I thought, let me look at the Gulf Shores, forecast, and it was like rain. I was like, well, this is not going to be fun. I get down there and it cleared up, and
Good.
It was like 20% each day.
That was you.
Didn't see any rain.
You're the reason.
So that was lucky.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it has been kind of a rainy summer down
But
there.
it was bad again yesterday, and everything like Montgomery. I kept getting warnings on my phone, and I'm like, I don't live there. Why are you telling me about severe warning?
It knows you're thinking about it.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. You can always tell what I'm thinking
Sure.
about. My phone is great at that. It loves to serve me things like, hey, here's an ad for a hat you can't afford. And I look at it and go, oh, but I want it.
That's why they do it.
It knows. It knows me so well. Work Trucks is downtown, 2324 3rd Avenue South. Work Trucks knows that you need a top-quality pre-owned work truck, and that's why they scour the country and bring them in from all over, put them through a 125-point inspection. One day while I was sitting in his office with Bubba, head guy over there at Work Trucks, I saw him purchase, through online auction, one from Portland, Oregon, and another from Maine. And I thought, when I say they come in from all over, I'm not kidding. They got one from the other side of the country. They got one from way north of here. And they do. They put them on trucks, and they bring them down here. And then they put them through that 125-point inspection. And they're on the lot, painted white, ready for your logo. Outfit them the way you want. You want a toolbox on there? You want a ladder rack on there? They'll make that happen. It's what they do at Work Trucks. You can trade finance, get an extended warranty, and don't forget about their service center right across the road. They're the Southeast #1 pre-owned work truck dealer for a reason, because they're really good at what they do. Work Trucks with an X, LLC.com. Work Trucks with an X, LLC.com. 2223 3rd Avenue South. I'll get it out. I can see my two friends, partners here, are looking at me like, is he having a stroke right now?
No.
Maybe. We don't know.
I was
You're
just thinking,
okay.
whenever you get to it.
Does it smell like oranges in here?
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
Well, a 26-year-old man was sentenced to 6 years and 1 month in jail after plotting to kill Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Ryan Michael English, who identifies as a woman and uses the name Riley Jane English, pled guilty to 2 counts related to the attempt to kill Bessent and carrying out he had a folding knife and 2 small Molotov cocktails on the grounds of the Capitol. This is back on January 27th of 2025, and this was over concerns of trans rights. Arresting officers said that English told them he had said to them twice that he intended to kill Bessent. Attorneys representing English have requested that he be placed in a female prison.
Yeah, by the way, interestingly, they said that those Molotov cocktails probably would never have ignited.
Probably not.
So he had a folding knife and 2 Molotov cocktails that weren't going to work. Now, interestingly, that doesn't really matter so much. Judges are not supposed to take that into account when it comes to sentencing. Juries are not supposed to take that into account when it comes to guilt. And by the way, pleaded guilty anyway. But still, you look at it and go, okay, the intent was there. You wanted to kill him. That's bad enough. I think we have to lock you up for a while to make sure that you don't get to carry that out.
And you had some weapons that you wanted to do that with. It wasn't just like you thought it, maybe you said it, but you didn't have anything on you. You physically had something on you.
Good or bad, working or not, you definitely had something with you that you thought was going to work, and that's the important thing. Now, here's my question. Why would the trans guy want to kill the openly gay member of the Trump administration?
The one guy that might be able to help you.
I'm mystified by this.
You're like, why would you want to do that to poor Scott?
Inspired by Luigi Mangione, I hear.
Just makes no sense. People, you got to think through these things a little bit more.
I would think so.
Apparently, Ryan Michael English wasn't thinking very well that day.
No, Ryan.
Some very interesting results in primaries taking place in Florida, Alaska, and Wyoming. Democratic Socialist Angie Nixon, she's pretty far out there, had a big win running against retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. This was a situation where Vindman was, very anti-Trump, and I think everybody is kind of excited that Angie Nixon defeated him because she really doesn't have a chance when she goes up against Senator Ashley Moody, a Republican. So, yes, she won in the primary, but as we progress further, it doesn't look like she's going to go very far when it comes to going up against Moody.
Would you like Donald Trump's Truth Social take on this?
He's having a little fun with it, yes.
11 hours ago, he said, "Sleazebag Vindman loses tonight to a radical left lunatic. How cool is that, President DJT?"
He loves it. And the other thing he loves is that Byron Donalds, a Republican, endorsed by Donald Trump, also won last night by a large margin. Donalds is going to take on Florida Republican Congressman turned Democrat David Jolly.
There were a ton of people on that Republican side. Ton of people running on the GOP side of this thing. So for him to have gotten very close to 50%, you don't have to have 50% in Florida, but he got like 46, 47% out of that. That's really amazing.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Byron, get familiar with him. Pretty sharp guy, well-spoken. I think he will represent the state of Florida very well should he win this whole thing. So that's kind of neat to see that. Congratulations to him. And finally, this story, UAB announcing yesterday that their athletic director has agreed to part ways and is no longer going to be with them. That is athletic director Mark Ingram. Ingram's been in that post for 11 years. There's been a couple of things that have happened that maybe led to this decision. One was that he hired Trent Dilfer, and that didn't work out too well. He was the head football coach for UAB. The problem was he'd never coached above the high school level prior to UAB, and you probably want somebody with a little more experience. Dilfer was fired midway through the third season. His record 9-23, not very good. Then they had some problems with the head coach in the softball program, and that coach is gone and has since been replaced. But again, all of this reflects on the AD. He did do some good things, moving from Legion Field to Protective Stadium, and then that Bartow Arena renovation, $16 million. And I'm sure there are other things that he has done that have been positive for UAB. But I think they just decided, hey, let's make move here. Let's change things up.
Do you think that he was aware of what a risk Trent Dilfer was and how it could feasibly cost him his job?
Well, no. Mainly because of the way this turned out. It's easy to look at it now and go, well, he should have known better. I think he rolled the dice and took a chance, and it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful with that because, I mean, again, this is his job on the line.
Exactly. And you think that, athletic directors do have to watch out for such things. You make the wrong decision 2, 3, 4 times in a row, Auburn, and, you end up getting the axe. You make the right choice 2, 3 times in a row, and you're golden, and you'll never, have to leave, which is, Alabama at this moment. We'll see. But I hope that they're able to track down somebody who's going to do a great job for them and get them back in the swing of things, because UAB's football team was at one time really fantastic. Fun to watch,
right? And
they've fallen on some hard times now and having more losing seasons than winning ones. And that's sort of the way they were when they first started, when they moved up to Division, what we call Division I, not anymore, I guess. FBS. When they first moved up, they were like everybody's whipping boy. They were who you scheduled when you needed a cupcake, And eventually they got to the point where they were strong, tough, fun to watch, and a real player. I'd like to see that happen again for them, maybe someday.
Alex Mortensen seems to be. Everyone seems to like Alex Mortensen.
Yeah,
and what he's doing down there. So
let's see.
Let's see what happens.
8:15, 8:16. Dixon and Vining Talk 99.5. Your thoughts always welcome. 545-9950. Oh, yeah. We always get a request for it. Sometimes we play it, sometimes we don't. Cash Domino Killers. People love Mustang Sally. I don't know why.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's a great tune.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a warm-up song. If we haven't played together for quite a while, I'll say let's start with that one.
It's like an
ease
easy,
in.
if you wanted to go to the dance floor, with the band's playing, you're like, that's a nice easy one. You don't want to break a hip or your lower back. You don't want to get it all out of whack. You're like, let's just ease into the evening, and this is the song.
Yeah.
Right?
No broken hips, please.
That's what this show has become. By the way, you lit them up, I mean, the Texas Groove now is like, boo!
Already.
Everybody's hitting us up with it. We're here.
All right, good.
What do you mean? Quiet. Who's quiet, says Adam. Thanks, guys.
Who?
We appreciate you.
Who's being quiet?
Nobody's being quiet.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
Little rain possibly on Friday. Whenever I think of rain, I think about Daniel and what a wonderful job he does with gutter covers to get the rain from your roof to areas away from the foundation of your home. That's why they're so important. I've known people that were like, I don't have gutters. Well, where's all the rain going? It's coming right off your roof and down into maybe your landscape. It's causing a problem and an erosion in and around the foundation of your home. You don't want any of that in your life. What you want is Daniel in your life over at Noble Contractors, because these guys do nothing but gutters. Anything gutter related. You need new gutters and gutter covers so you don't get the leak. Fall is around the corner, folks. Get those gutters up on your house. Get the gutter covers so that when fall happens and all those leaves start coming down, you're not back up on the ladder cleaning them out. The other thing is, great to know that Daniel is here in the Birmingham area for any time you need a repair done on a gutter. If you've got gutters right now and you're like, yeah, mine, I've got a couple of problems here. Really could use somebody to come out and resolve what's going on. The water's going over the gutter when we get a lot of rain. Daniel can fix that. Give him a call today. Tell him that I sent you. You'll get a 10% discount on your new gutters, 205-422-3034. And he also has financing available as well. Ask him about it. As low as 0% for 21 months. A good guy, wonderful business. And if you need anything gutter related, this is who you want to call. Ask for a free estimate as well. 422-3034, 422-3034.
823 with Dixon and Vining. And the city of Montgomery has funded a little community violence intervention program. The idea being that you're going to reduce the amount of violence, crime, things of that nature. They have now had to twice take down their website and clean their social media page of photos of people involved with the program who have been charged with a drug-related crime.
Oh, my heavens. Are we not vetting people? We're not vetting them?
32-year-old Patrick O'Neill Perry of Montgomery recently arrested the Alabama Department of Corrections with 19 pounds of marijuana and $30,000 in cash.
We're not talking just a little recreational drugs. We're talking 19 pounds.
19 pounds. That is not for personal use, my friend.
No, we are distributing that.
Perry has apparent ties to the city-funded community violence intervention program, appearing frequently on the program's social media, wearing shirts associated with the group Save Our Streets.
Well, he's doing a heck of a job with that, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Records now indicate that Daniel Lamar Hatcher, who likewise was an apparent connection to the CVI program and also appeared frequently in social media posts, was arrested 2 weeks before Perry and charged with distribution of cocaine.
Okay, you guys might have a hiring flaw here.
His bond was set for $30,000. After Hatcher's arrest, Save Our Streets MGM apparently deleted dozens of pictures, many of which featured both Perry and Hatcher. Its website, which was operational and linked to 1819 news story of the arrest, no longer online. There's a little 404 error page there. News stories previously did reveal now deleted picture of Perry with Montgomery Mayor Stephen Reed. Well, he was his connection, of course.
Of course.
Man, oh, man.
This is so bad.
Hatcher, who goes by several aliases like Doo-Doo, claims in a handwritten motion before the court that the evidence used against him in this case has also been used to indict him in federal court. He also claims in the letter that a detective was having a sexual relationship with a confidential informant he allegedly interacted with in the cocaine deal.
Golly.
We're only missing
Newsflash.
the rock and roll side of this.
Newsflash, we don't care.
Yeah.
That is not that important to us about whether.
And guys, just once again, this is Montgomery, Montgomery, Alabama, that this is going on. Oh, my.
The indictment used to arrest him was issued in 2009. Court records do indicate that Hatcher was convicted in 2010 of conspiracy to distribute crack cocaine in federal court stemming from a 2009 indictment. The conviction earned him a 300-month sentence. It's unclear if the state and federal indictments stem from the same alleged crime. However, contrary to Hatcher's claim in his letter, both the state and federal governments may charge him under the dual sovereignty doctrine. Yeah, we don't have that deal like they have in New York, so it's not double jeopardy if you do that here. This is positively
wow.
insane.
Well,
Like
now
said,
you understand why they took it down.
Sure,
It's pretty bad.
but what is with the lack of vetting? How
there
do you
appears
not
to be none there.
Really look into it and make sure that when you're dealing with these folks, you're not dealing with drug dealers.
And you know where this falls in? The lap of the mayor. It's right in your lap, Mayor.
Yeah. I mean,
there's really no excuse for
if you're
that.
not handpicking the people doing this, you're at least handpicking the people who are handpicking the people.
Yeah, and you're not
who are doing
handpicking
this.
very good people that are using some discretion. here.
Clearly not. Great googly moogly. How do you allow this sort of thing to happen? And then you end up with news stories like this, which just really kind of destroy the integrity of the program, for starters.
Maybe
and then
maybe the city of Montgomery needs to rethink their mayor, Stephen Reed,
Oh,
and
yeah.
maybe look at putting somebody else that seems to be a little more. I mean, this is not one; this is two individuals, and you had to take down the website, and now they're in jail.
Well, good luck with
Wow.
getting rid of Stephen Reed. I mean, he's about as ensconced in that role as Randall Woodfin is here. There's not much chance of anybody coming along that's going to really seriously challenge him and win that role. I think the job is his for as long as he wants it. He's bombastic. He's the son of Joe Reed, who was a flamethrower, a bomb thrower when I lived down there. A guy named Emery Fulmer was the mayor. Fulmer was a real hard-ass white guy, conservative, although you didn't really run as a Republican or a Democrat, but he was just one of these guys who was no-nonsense, tough on crime, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when he left office, the city began to slowly unravel. And the series of mayors that have followed him have not done much in the way of keeping the city together, which is kind of a shame.
It is a shame because, again, you're in the leadership role of that city and you're running the city, and then you have stories like this. This is embarrassing. This is terrible for the city of Montgomery.
Look, there's two things that Montgomery is known for, and they're known nationwide for these things. One is the cradle of the Confederacy, and the other is the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement. Both extremely important things in American history. And when you allow your downtown to fall into a state of disarray, or you allow, even the outskirts or areas of your place to show some blight and damage, and it begins to start looking a little bit like the ghetto. In the ghetto, people come from all over the place to see these things. They just see the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement, to see the cradle of the Confederacy. They want to know about that history of America, and much in the same way Donald Trump said, we can't have our capital city for the United States be a hellhole. We shouldn't allow the capital city for the state of Alabama to become one. And the last time I was there, I got to be honest with you, I was ashamed. I mean, I used to live there. It was a significantly nicer, cleaner, better place 25, 30 years ago when I lived there. It has gone straight to hell, and I hate it.
Well, we may have a new governor here pretty soon that might be able to do something a little bit about that, a little nudging in Montgomery to
Tommy
like,
T?
hey, we're going,
yeah.
he's going to be spending some time in Montgomery. Maybe he'd like to see it cleaned up. Maybe takes Mr. Reed to lunch and says, hey, let's have a little chit-chat. Let's figure this out.
Hey, Tommy Tuberville's a persuasive guy. He may be able to make something happen down there. And hey,
then he can come to Birmingham. When you're done with that, Tommy, come to Birmingham.
come on. You have an open invitation, my friend.
Right.
8:30, Dixon and Vining. 8:35, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. Download our app. Take us with you wherever you go. We do 13 hours of live and local programming every single day. You know, we haven't really touched upon this case that is all the rage on the 24-hour news networks right now. The story of the lady who killed her 3 children and then attempted to kill herself, and now she is being charged with first-degree murder while her her defense attorneys are trying to prove that she is actually just mentally ill and deserves to be in a facility of some kind, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to make of it, except that the defense just has got a parade of witnesses of people coming through, pointing again and again and again to how this Lindsay Clancy had said on multiple occasions, I'm not well. Things are bad. I'm having terrible thoughts here. She said this to her mother. She said this to her husband. She said this to her mother-in-law. She said this to countless friends and people. She saw many, many doctors, was put on a lot of different medication. None of it really seemed to be working. What was working was not working well enough, apparently. And it's a dirty little secret, by the way, about psychotropic drugs. If you've ever suffered from real depression, Gary Goldman is a great stand-up comic who has an entire piece on this. It's an album, and it's called The Great Depression, which is, he manages to make depression funny somehow, but he definitely talks about how for 2 years he could not get out of bed. He could not motivate himself to do anything, okay? That's really serious depression. That's as bad as it's going to get. Sometimes the psychotropic drugs just give you enough energy to get up and get the gun out of the closet, okay?
Yeah, sad as that is.
People don't think about that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, the drugs made him do it. No, he was going to do it. The drugs just gave him the energy to do it. And this might very well have been the case with Lindsay Clancy, is that she was struggling with it. She was fighting with it. And I have some experience with this. When you tell somebody I'm struggling with depression and they look at you and they say, I don't know what to do for you. I can't help you. I don't know what you want.
That's them screaming for help.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
If somebody says that.
And she saw, like I said, many, many, many doctors and was on a variety of different prescriptions over the course of all this time. But, her husband was kind of like, yeah, but you're the mother and you're going to take care of these kids, and that's the way that's going to be.
It's a difficult situation. It really is when you talk about postpartum, psychosis and other things, and then you have that, and then you're taking medicine to get somebody right back. And there's all different degrees of it, right? Some people don't get any of that. They don't have any postpartum anything going on psychologically. And there's others that struggle with it. The young 37-year-old mother who she left her 11-year-old, and the actress that just died. We're not sure all the circumstances surrounding that, but again, there's different levels of this, and it sounds like this woman was in serious depression and had some real problems there, that she wasn't maybe getting the care that she needed, or that people didn't take her seriously. When somebody's dealing with this, you've got to pay close attention and do whatever you can. And again, we weren't in the household. We don't know what the relationship was like between her and her husband and everything else.
Good Lord, the evidence that is being I'm peripherally paying attention to this.
We haven't done a deep dive on this.
I'm not focused on it in any way, shape, or form. The bits and pieces of evidence that are floating across my transom are enough for me to be, as a juror, I'd be like, put her in the home, put her in the facility. She does not need to go to prison. This woman did not set out maliciously to kill her children. This whole thing is reminiscent of a case that happened back in 2001. I think a lot of people remember it, the Andrea Yates case. Mm-hmm. She drowned her 5 kids in the bathtub. Horrible situation. And boy, people were loaded for bear on this woman. They wanted her head. They wanted her strung up. And I was one of them. I was absolutely in that camp until I got this book mailed to me. It was called Are You in the Home Alone? Or Are You Home Alone? Something like that. And I read the whole thing, and it was about Andrea Yates. It started off with the author explaining how he happened to be just in the right place at the right time to follow that story from day one. And once I got this deep dive in on what was going on in her life and her world and her husband's world and her psychosis, I was like, oh, of course she needs treatment. Of course she belongs somewhere other than a prison. You know, that's not where you put somebody who loses their mind and kills their 5 children. That's just, you know, part of us, we all want that retribution. You know, we all want that revenge.
Yeah.
But it's not going to do her any good, and it's not doing the kids any good, and it's not doing society any good either. And we really have to stop and think about what is it we want to achieve here.
Yeah.
And that's why I find it interesting that throughout the course of all of this, prosecutors haven't yet stopped and said, you know what, Your Honor, never mind. We were off on this one.
Well, the prosecutors are saying now that she made a calculated decision to intentionally kill her children. When you say that, but you're talking with somebody that is dealing with some mental issues, can they really make a calculated decision? I mean, I understand she killed her children intentionally.
Yes.
But you're dealing with somebody with mental illness, and you knew this all along. You probably knew it after child 1. The family probably knew it after the first child.
Yep.
That's something, you know.
Postpartum depression frequently gets worse with each child that comes down the line, you know. And yes, of course, she intentionally killed her children. There's not a question about that. She didn't accidentally kill her children. The question was she in her right mind when she did it? Well, she knew. Here's the classic. She knew what she was doing was wrong. Yeah, but
if you're
could
mentally
she help
ill,
it? Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess what? Heroin addicts shooting up know what they're doing is wrong. They can't help it.
And again, I'm not, I mean, you're talking about, 3 precious children, 5, 3, and 8 months old that are no longer on this earth.
Absolutely horrible.
And it's horrific what happened. But I don't know what you do with this, Richard. Seriously, if she's screaming and yelling, I need help, I need help, I need help, I need help, a husband, a mother-in-law, mom, whoever, that she's, saying, I need help because I'm having these feelings, I'm hearing these things in my head, and she's not getting the proper treatment that she needs. And maybe, I don't mean to say she gets taken away from the kids, but somebody's kind of monitoring. That maybe is the husband. If the husband's gone to work all day, she's there all day with the kids.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
So what do you do with that situation?
She had her mother come over at one point because she said, I need to not be alone with these children. I need to not be alone.
And that's her screaming for help again.
She was doing the best she could under the circumstances. In the midst of the Andrea Yates thing, which was a conversation that went on for weeks in America and on my radio show at the time, I got a call from a woman who was trying to explain, and this is before I'd read the book, trying to explain postpartum psychosis to me. And she broke down and started crying about how just a few weeks after giving birth, she was feeling motivated to put her baby in the microwave, and that she had to tell her husband to get all of the knives out of the house because she was going to do harm to herself or her kid. And she was, and you could tell just the way she was talking and the way she was crying about the whole thing, that it was very confusing. She didn't understand why this was or why this was happening. It's a chemical imbalance, you know, and it's serious. She was over it, fortunately, and this had happened a couple of years before that phone call, but just her going back and revisiting that time was enough to break her down. And I got a really good insight just from that one person about how serious this can be. So I got to tell you this. I think this one is. I honestly believe the jury is going to come back with a not guilty verdict, especially since the defense has almost an endless parade of these witnesses that are coming forward.
Go get her the help that she needs.
Will she ever actually be well enough to return to society? I don't
know.
No idea.
I don't know, but that's for doctors to figure out and therapists to figure out. But it's a tough one. This really is a difficult one. And you have to think about, too, going forward, there are a lot of women out there that deal with postpartum, psychosis. I don't know what the percentage is out there, but, we really need to look at this closely about how we maybe address this going forward?
Sure.
What is the help? What are the steps other than she's yelling for help and let's put her on medicine and go see a doctor?
Right.
There's got to be maybe some interim in there where somebody steps in and isn't allowing her just to spend 24 hours alone with the kids or 9 hours out of the day alone. If she's having these feelings and we don't have things straightened out yet, how do we prevent this from happening again?
Something needs to be done. That's exactly the point. Something needs to be done. And hopefully, obviously, postpartum depression is far more prevalent.
Complicated, yeah.
Well, it's more common than postpartum psychosis. Psychosis is the next step down, and so you'll have a certain percentage that suffer from postpartum depression. It's not that uncommon. And then you'll have a much, much smaller percentage that suffers from postpartum psychosis. And then there's an even smaller percentage that act on that postpartum psychosis.
Yeah.
So maybe the voices aren't screaming loud enough yet, We need more voices to scream louder to say there has to be some
intervention or
intervention
something.
help
Yeah.
that will fix this problem going forward. 846 with Dixon and Vining. Your thoughts always welcome. 545-9950. Stick around. 8:51. Dixon Divining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com, and on YouTube, Real Talk 995 TV. You can watch us there all day. You can see Dixon Divining. You can watch Skippy and Jimbo. You can see Breaking Bread. I'm sorry. I forgot. Who's the guy that comes between? Oh, right, Leland Live. Right, I forgot about him.
Don't forget about
He's
Leland. Yeah.
I wouldn't forget about Leland.
Leland
I
Live.
listen to at least a little bit of his show every single day, which is more than I can say for Skippy. Anyway,
Wow.
I'm just being
Brutal.
mean. Just being mean. I want to tell you a horror story. Can I really? Just very quickly.
Okay.
When I was selling
Is this
my
a
house.
personal horror story?
Personal horror story. I was moving to Orlando, and I was selling my house in Highland Park, and got with these real estate agents, friends of friends. That's the way so many people do it, you know. And I said, "What do you think we should price it at?" And they said, "Well, what do you think we should price it at?" I was like, "I'm not the expert here, but anyway." Came up with a price for it. Turns out it was way too high. Way too high. We went through the rigmarole. We had the showings, you know. We had the open houses, and nothing. No movement, no offers, no nothing. Finally decided we had the wrong real estate agents and swapped over to somebody else. And that was out of the frying pan into the fire. Got a much worse real estate agent the second time around. Lowered the price. Didn't do any good at all. Third time was the charm, but it was 6 months in before we found the right person to sell the house for us and landed on the right price. In the meantime, we had created that aura of, well, what's wrong with this house? How come this for sale sign's been out here forever and nobody wants to buy it? You want to avoid that? Granger Thaggart Auction Marketing. It's just that simple. You are controlling the speed of the process. You are allowing the market to set the price. You're getting the best market value because qualified buyers show up cash in hand and bid against each other for your piece of property. You know the date of close. You know the date of sale. Buyer pays all the closing costs. There's so much to like about this, even if you already have a listing agent. GTauctions.com. Find out more. GTauctions.com. Get a free, no obligation explanation from Jack Granger himself or one of his fine folks over there. GTauctions.com. Avoid my nightmare. And don't say I didn't warn you. Richard the cop texts in, says, I love kinky hose. I don't think that's what we were talking about, man. I think you're a little confused.
Just a little off the mark there. Hello.
Cheryl says, never kink hoses suck. Wow. Cheryl.
I'm with you, Cheryl.
Ouch.
They do.
Chris says, hey, Richard, just wanted to text in. Love you and Valerie. Love your show. Have a great day. Thank you. Scott texted in kombucha. That was just his way of saying he's out there.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you, Scott. Thank y'all for checking in.
Jerry says, I haven't texted because Valerie's beauty has left me speechless.
Oh, stop.
I had to look at Richard in order to text this message. Have a great day.
The check is in the mail.
Glad I could be of
Angry
service.
trucker.
Tom says, another annoying garden hose peeve comes when you lose the washer out of the coupling end that attaches to the spigot. That water is going to spray out the tap end until you replace that washer. Yeah.
Yeah, you always need some of those extras, don't you? I found that over the years. Just have a couple handy.
I went to 5 Points Hardware.
Sounds like I got way too much experience with garden hoses.
I bought a metal, almost key ring type thing that was just full of those washers.
Right, just buy a whole pack of them.
I immediately
Put them where your tools are.
I immediately lost them, of course. No, I did find them.
Label it,
eventually.
find it. I don't know.
I still have them,
Yeah.
but you have to change them out every once in a while. They do get
About once a year. If you don't
dry rot.
if you don't put the hose up like during the winter months or something like that, and it's outside, you're gonna run through those pretty quickly.
Louise Kelly says Vindman is not retired Air Force; he's retired Army. I think you're right, Louise. I apologize. Or is it Lewis? Might be Lewis. I think it's Lewis. I apologize for calling you a woman, Lewis.
Yeah, retired Air Force. I think it's Air Force.
Is it?
I think so. Unless some of the media's got it wrong. We'll have to look that up.
That'd be
Maybe
the
we've been
first-
saying it
That
wrong.
would be the first time that the media's ever gotten anything
let's
wrong,
look
Valerie.
it up, Vidman. I'll check it out for us.
Let's see. Edwin says Mayor Reed did handpick those people. Everyone in his administration's either relatives or friends of relatives. Yeah, that sounds about right.
He is a retired Army lieutenant.
Yeah, Army. I don't know.
Okay,
So
there you go.
somewhere today they said Air Force. So.
Carlos
We
says,
stand corrected. Thank you much.
Richard,
Not that it matters that
No,
much,
not
you know. I
really.
mean, for what he did to Donald Trump,
He's a jerk.
I'll say he was in the Air Force.
He's a weasel.
Right.
Carlos says, Richard, you're a smart guy. Why do people drive on parkways and park on driveways? That's a really old Gallagher bit, actually. Anthony says, death penalty. Nice sympathy there, Anthony. I appreciate the fact that you... let's see. Don't have an answer on who this person is. So what? Rehab her for what? To let her into society again? Yeah, that's what I was just asking. I don't know. Does she ever make it into society again? I don't know.
We don't know the answer to that. Share your name. You're 334.
Well,
Whoever
and
you are.
the other side of it is really we're hoping to be able to figure out what are the warning signs so that we can keep something like that from happening.
Yeah, and she might be a perfect person to study for that. McGee says, are you there alone? Yes, that was it. The Unspeakable Crimes of Andrea Yates by Suzanne O'Malley. And I did interview Suzanne O'Malley later because that's why she sent the book, was she wanted me to, do an interview with her, and I did. That book came out in record time after that crime, was the talk of the town. Jenny says, I've seen some of the testimony on the Clancy trial. Her husband worked from home. Her mother stayed in the home a lot of the time, and they had a nanny for some of the time. It's a very sad case. Yeah, I would say so. Do you know why the pants fly upside down over Montgomery? The pants? Does he mean the birds? Why birds fly upside
Maybe
down?
birds. How do
Over
we get
Montgomery?
pants?
Because the place is hardly worth crapping on.
Yeah, it's
says Kyle.
birds. How do
Okay.
we get pants?
I don't know. That's a real voice to text fail if ever I've seen one. Well, as bad
At least
as
it
they
made
get.
it fun and interesting. We're trying to figure out what Kyle was saying.
Yeah,
Pants
we like that.
fly upside down.
Keep it fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
Maybe
here.
pigeons? Is it pigeons for the P?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Economists are suggesting that the Fed is going to hold interest rates steady for the rest of the year. I really wish that they would drop a quarter point, maybe a half, a little more. Just, it would certainly help the housing market, if nothing else, and make housing more affordable for people who are desperate to get into that first one. And, I can't stress it enough. I don't mean to beat this dead horse too much, but our problem with inflation is not as a result of there being too much money in the system. It's not. Or that money is too accessible. It's not. It really all has to do with what's going on in Iran right now, and it has to do with the price of oil and gasoline. And if we could get that down, the price of food would lower, and we could probably get inflation under control more so as a result of that. But as long as this is volatile and up in the air, it's always going to be, we're always going to have this inflation at a level higher than we would like it to be. We're also entering a very strange time in this economy in that where we used to regularly create 150,000 jobs a month, 150, 200,000 jobs a month. That was sort of common. Nowadays, and I'm not sure if we are counting the gig economy or we're counting people who are starting their own businesses or how we're doing it, but we are, 30,000 jobs is a good month now. And you go, how can that possibly be? Well, there's 7 million open jobs out there.
Yeah, we just talked a story, I guess it was yesterday, talking about young males 18 to 27 are getting out of the job market. We're like,
Where are they going?
right, where are you?
Where in the
How are
world?
you going to make a living?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And certainly in an era where AI is beginning to absorb more and more of the work that people are doing or used to be doing, it's a new economy is what it is. It's a different economy. That's all there is to it. The internet made everybody's job a little bit easier. AI is going to make everyone's job a lot easier. And there's going to be some people who get supplanted by it. Sad but true. 9 o'clock, Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk99.5.com.